We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings, secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast. 100 episodes. Yes, I know we've put out episodes, but if you notice, I'm not sure if you'd notice on Anchor or not, or Google Podcasts, but if you notice on YouTube, you'll see that we skipped over 100 because I wanted to do a special episode for the 100th episode because that's, to me, a big deal. I mean, you're hitting triple digits at that point as far as episodes, and as far as what, like, Sam Tripoli says, if you can make it past 50, your podcast will survive. So, we've made it past 100. So, that's pretty good. I don't see us going anywhere anytime soon. I mean, podcasting is one of those things that, honestly, anyone can do pretty cheaply. I'll probably be doing it till the day I die. I'll be an old man on here, you know. Hopefully, you know. But today we just kind of wanted to do like a personal episode. We're still going to get into conspiracies and stuff, obviously, but we'll keep it, the questions and stuff, kind of links to that. But kind of an episode just for you guys to get to know us a little better and our journeys through life and all that. But as far as like an update, I just got off work, so I'm a little sleepy. I got some energy to do a podcast though, but just wore out, you know. Got the car fixed, car's running fine. That's about it. That's all that's new since the last 2 episodes.
Yeah, pretty much.
You ain't got...
Me and you both just been working or chilling at home, really. We haven't done much. I mean, we go hiking when we can.
Never get to see each other, really.
And we get to see each other for a few hours.
What,
Yeah.
while I'm sleeping?
No, I said, well, we actually get to see each other for a few hours. We legitimately get to see each other. Especially because I've been working some kind of day shift, you know. So I get to at least see you for an hour or two maybe before I go in. And
Yeah, about an hour or two a day.
then another hour or two before you go in.
Yeah. That's not very good. That's not healthy.
No, but it is what it is. We can't exactly help what our jobs ask of us,
Right.
sadly. We don't have our own jobs that, you know, our own business, that's what I meant.
Right.
We don't have our own business, which I would love to have. That'd be awesome. I'd love to have my own business.
Right. Where to find us? You can find us on Anchor, Breaker, Google Podcast, Radio Public, Spotify. You can find it, and if you listen to audio only, that actually helps us out. We get paid like, I think it's like $0.01 an episode, something like that.
Yep, every time you listen to the advertisement in it.
And we've got microphones, but we don't have a splicer, so.
We're working on it.
Yep. We are going to try to set up a tip jar so you guys can throw in whatever you want. I had plans on one day making t-shirts. That would be cool. Stickers, something. It's just, I want this podcast to be self-sustainable. But yeah, honestly, today we're just going to be I'm going to be interviewing her and kind of telling my story along the way too. We'll just both answer the same questions. I wrote down some questions. So, how did you get into this stuff?
Into what stuff exactly? Podcasting, ghost hunting, what?
Conspiracy, podcast, paranormal,
Well,
ghost
I
hunting.
guess partially interest and partially you.
That's it.
I guess I don't know how to explain it. Just
Alright.
I already like ghost hunting. I always have.
Cool.
I've already thought that lots of shit was fucked up in the world and things didn't make sense.
Right.
But I've never been one exactly to do the research myself because I was always more interested in anime. So I learned everything I learned from you. I mean, some of it I did already know before you, a little bit here and there. I've heard through like someone else or something, you know.
Right.
But for the most part, I learned most of it with you or from you. Give me your fur face.
Well, I guess how I got into it, honestly, like, the earliest memory I can remember that kind of got me into it was, my mom, man. My mom, we used to have this Pentecostal church that we'd go to, and she ran the church van. We called it the church bus, but it was just like a long, extended, old school, like, probably like a Chevy or something van. And we would get up, I mean, it would be like 4 or 5 in the morning because we had a ton of kids to pick up, you know?
Yeah.
So we'd get up and I remember she'd get me breakfast burritos. I loved breakfast burritos. I still do, but I swear they shrunk. Like when I was a kid, I swear they were huge.
Well, they actually used to be, yeah, right when I started McDonald's, not long after.
Yeah.
They got rid of the bigger ones and only went to the little ones.
Yeah. Okay, so it's not all in my head.
No.
But yeah, so she'd get me breakfast and she would listen to talk radio. And where I was so young, I don't remember what they would say, but, because it was adults talking, you know. But I just remember being like, is that all they do is talk? And she'd be like, yeah. And I'm like, and she'd say, that's their job. And I'm like, what do you mean that's their job? Like, you get paid to talk? And she's like, yeah. And I don't know, I was like 5 or 6 years old and it clicked. I'm like, dude, that's fucking dope. Like, obviously this isn't my job, but like, it kind of inspired me to be like, man, how fucking awesome is that? Like, what do you do for a living? Oh, I just sit there and talk and have fun. Like, how awesome of a job is that to just sit around, talk, and have fun, you know?
That will burn me.
I don't know, just that kind of like clicked with me. I guess the next thing that really got me into, like, as far as like, the first thing before conspiracy and all that, because my dad was kind of a conspiracy theorist. Like, he was real Christian. He was off and on preacher. Like, he preached when I was a baby and then quit for years and then didn't start preaching until I was a teenager, which was horrible because I was like a punk rocker, a skater, you know. And then your dad becomes a preacher overnight. It's like, and the next thing you know, he's cutting your hair and you have to look like this, you can't dress like this, and it was just, that whole time sucked, man. That's a whole nother story, that'd be a whole nother podcast, but, I don't know, like, my earliest memory as far as the paranormal, which kind of clicked, and it was honestly like a life-changing moment, was, I seen a demon in my closet. And I actually did a video on it. I'll try to remember to link it during the credits so you can just hear the full story. But to kind of sum it up, it was like 2 red eyes in the closet, which is crazy because I'll tell you in a second. But I remember it like speaking to me in like a foreign tongue, but it had like the most evil voice. And I just remember like praying it away, like rebuking it, and this whole conversation with this entity, it knew my name. That was the only word that it said that like I could, yeah, that I could understand was English, was Abraham. it would speak gibberish, and then Abraham, and then more gibberish, you know. Like, it was legit talking to me. And then it lasted about 30 minutes, maybe an hour, and then I just remember, I don't even remember passing out or going to sleep. I just remember waking up and it was morning, and just being like mind fucked, like what the fuck. And the whole day, it's like, I don't know if anyone's ever been in a car wreck, but you know how you're like in a daze for like the whole rest of the day? That's how it felt for me. But I never forgot that, and I do think it kind of shifted my life. Like, when I was a teenager, I was angry with kind of like Christianity. I was pissed with Christianity. None of it makes sense. It still doesn't make sense to me. And I was mad at God for the longest time, for years. And then now, I've kind of gotten over it, and I'm not mad at God. I'm actually kind of thankful. As weird as that sounds, I'm thankful that I came across like a demonic entity, because it showed me, it piqued my interest, and it showed me that I can do something with that experience. I mean, I put out a channel with over 400 videos. We're up to 100 podcasts now. You know, I've spent my whole, well, not my whole life, but the past decade studying the paranormal, studying religion, studying spirituality, and that all ties in eventually to conspiracy, you know, or conspiracy ties in with spirituality. Sam Tripoli calls it conspirituality. I do like that word, though. He says he's a conspiritualist. I like it, because he says all conspiracy leads to spirituality, you know.
I can believe that.
I mean, you go from blue to purple to red to black to white, you know. That's the last pill. But yeah, and I remember my dad and stuff, he was kind of a conspiracy theorist. Like, he talked to me about the whole JFK assassination. For some reason, that one really resonated with him. His theory was that it was like all mafia, like, but he was into like the alien autopsy tapes. He bought the alien autopsy tape on VHS. I remember watching it growing up. He was into ghost, aliens, and some conspiracy here and there he was interested in. And I just remember hearing bits and pieces. And welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast.
I didn't think you would do that.
This is your host.
I apologize.
You're good. Sometimes though, like, we'd be driving in the car late at night, and I just remember him popping on Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell. This was when, no offense, George Knapp or George Norrie, whatever your name is. Sorry.
I didn't get your name right.
Yeah, I only like Art Bell. Like, as soon as Art Bell was gone, I was like, nah. Art Bell's awesome though. And I remember catching bits and pieces of it. He'd turn it on and he'd listen to, like, you know, a story here and there, and then like a story about a demon or something would come up, and he'd be like, oh, I can't listen to that, and he'd turn the radio.
Oh, I can't listen to that.
Yeah, I hated every time he'd turn it though. I'd be like, man, I was getting into that. But, yeah, I mean, as far as conspiracy theories, I think I kind of woke up about 19, like truly woke up. I had a UFO experience. It was the red or orange UFO type. I'll try to leave that in the cast so you can check out. I did a whole video on it, so I'm trying not to rehash stories.
Yeah, we'll put a link up there for y'all.
Yeah, but that got me into ufology, because before then I thought UFOs were stupid. I thought it was the dumbest thing ever. And then when I finally seen one, it was definitely life altering. For some reason I thought like believing in ghosts was like
stupid.
No, I just said I had a demon experience. Believing in ghosts was acceptable, but UFOs, that was stupid.
Okay,
yeah. Yeah, and then when I seen a UFO, I'm like, that's no more stupid than a fucking ghost walking through your wall or a demon in your closet. I'm like, so then honestly, I was like, alright, I've seen a demon, and I've had ghost experiences.
You've had some at your aunts and shit, right?
Yeah, I've seen, well, not ants now. Erica, it's haunted as fuck, but I haven't had any experiences there. It's creepy.
Yeah, I think you had some at, shit.
Aunt Fran's? No.
Yes, yeah, there you go.
No. It was all at my mom's house in Kentucky, here in Kentucky.
Okay.
I did a whole episode on it, too. I guess I'll leave a link to it. I don't know. You guys are just going to have to go through the library, man.
Honey, it's not hard to leave links. We'll leave them links.
Yeah, I just don't know how to do all that shit.
I did. I'll help you.
What I was trying to say, though, was it's no more... It kind of clicked to me that all this shit isn't outlandish. Like, it cracks me up when some people would be like, oh, I believe in ghosts. And then...
They won't believe in another thing?
Yeah, and then you try to talk to them about aliens. They're like, aliens, that's stupid. And I was that person. But where I seen aliens and ghosts, I'm like, fuck it. All this shit could be real, dude. So if someone comes up to me talking about Sasquatch, I'm like, all ears. Like, go on. You know? Because it's like, I can't say it's stupid. I mean, I seen UFO, I seen aliens, I seen a demon.
Yeah.
I'm to the point, I'm all ears for all of it, man. You know?
Yeah.
But like, when I was 19 is when I really got into conspiracies. At first, I was just into like reading ghost books and reading UFO books, watching UFO documentaries, watching ghost documentaries, stuff like that. Because that was all we were allowed in my dad's house. Like any time it got into like witchcraft or anything like that.
Not allowed.
Yeah, like we had to sneak in like Lord of the Rings books under our shirts and shit like that.
Didn't you also go through your Yu-Gi-Oh cards and get rid of anything that looked at any way kind of demonic or something?
Dude, anything. Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Pokemon, we almost had to get rid of Pokemon. Because my grandma said that their eyes were the eyes of the devil.
Grandma's crazy.
Yeah, well, all Williams are crazy. But yeah, I mean, I had dabbled in witchcraft, like, secretly as a teenager.
Yeah.
I think was like kind of my first spiritual path that I chose. I say that I chose because I was raised Christian. And I mean, we were raised like Pentecostal, Baptist, Evangelist, non-denomination. My parents literally jumped through not every, but like literally a shit ton of different denominations. They wanted to, I guess, try it all. And I got with my ex-wife, and we were working at McDonald's at the time, and we were working with this black dude. His name was Relski, is what we called him. His actual name was Tyrell, but his name was Relski, is what we called him. And man, he got me into... He was a conspiracy theorist, but he was in the school of David Icke, that he believed everyone was reptilians. So, I mean, he woke me up, but I woke up to, like, the David Icke reptilian shit. That was my first red pill, they're all reptiles. But, I mean, the shit he was telling me, though, was about the Freemasons, the Illuminati. He taught me how to decode the entire $1 bill. And at 19 years old, I mean, I was just believing the guy 100%, you know? I mean, could there possibly be a reptilian race out there? Possibly, but do I think all of the elites are actual reptiles? No, I don't think they're reptiles. I think they're Luciferian, and they're probably practicing cannibalism and pedophilia and all that jazz, but I don't think they turn into dragons and eat children, you know? But I mean, I'm glad he gave me the red pill, you know, like that. That, I think, was the first, like, true red pill that made me become a conspiracy theorist, and then I got to talk to my older brother, who was conspiracy theorist, and we talked for hours. And my ex-wife, it was kind of part of our divorce because I was waking up and she wanted to stay asleep. So like, when you're waking up, you come in with this excited attitude, and that's all you can talk about, you know? And it's hard to wake up in a relationship when the other one wants to stay asleep. You know, the other one wants to drink beer and watch Jerry Springer all day, and you're like,
Fuck Jennifer.
Yeah, you're trying to tell her about how Freemasons run the world, and she's like, none of this makes sense. You're fucking crazy. That's what she would tell me, you're crazy. She'd just tell me you're crazy all the time, you know? And I don't know, like, we ended up splitting, and I ended up in an apartment by myself, and I completely started to immerse myself in study because I didn't have, no offense, pussy to distract me, and I didn't have an ex-wife who discouraged me and called me crazy 24/7. So now I was alone, and I just started buying books like crazy. I told you all about Samson up the road and how I literally went to his occult section and bought. I would walk out of there with stacks of books like this, and just every time I'd come in, he loved seeing me come in because I would just walk up to the register like,
yeah, you were giving him money.
here you go, and he's like, oh, found a bunch, and then like it got to the point like,
you didn't have anything, did you?
yeah, he ran out of everything that I wanted to read, you know.
Yeah.
I think the last time I went in there, I bought like one Aleister Crowley book that just happened to be there.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. There's a fairy book that I want that's there, but I bought literally his whole shelf. So
it's hard for him to keep stock because he's a antiques dealer kind of person, so it's not like he's in a legit bookstore. He has to either be given these things or go find them, you know?
I say it's antique and books, though, because he has a shit ton of books.
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, I'm saying it's not a bookstore in the sense that he's going to be able to have a shipment of this. Like, this is...
Yeah, he doesn't get shipments.
No.
It's just pretty much whatever anyone brings him, he buys it and resells it.
Yeah, or something else that he might find.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So pretty much I was going through divorce, so I was going a little cuckoo. But I mean, I had complete freedom, and I started dabbling in spirituality. Like, I'm like, look, I'm not a Christian, and I'm sorry, if you guys are fans and you're Christians, that's cool. It works. If it works for you, and it gets you through the day, that's all that matters.
Yep.
And Glenn Danzig said that. But yeah, if it works for you, good. You know. Whatever floats your boat.
Yep.
But I wanted to experiment with it. Like, I never stopped doing magic. I still do magic. To this day, I do witchcraft. I just don't do it all the time because I don't find it necessary to change reality. To me, like, when you do a spell, for me, it works. So, it's unlike a prayer. Like, a prayer is more like, please. But a spell is like, I command this to happen, and it happens. That's why I like witchcraft. No offense to Christianity, but I'd rather just make something happen than ask for it to happen and hope it happens. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now the Native Americans, they pray, and I like the way that they pray. They, like, say your wife is sick, they'll say, thank you, God, that you made my wife better. They pray as if it already happened. And they're thanking him for making her better. Like, it's already like a jump ahead instead of like, please make my wife better. They're like, thanks God for making my wife better. Amen. It's like, oh shit. You know? And if she doesn't get better and she dies, thank you God for making my wife die. That's how they pray. And I'm like, that's kind of cool though, you know? Either way, they're just like, thanks God. But I started delving into, like, Rastafari. I know it sounds silly. I know it sounds weird. But that was, like, my first religion that I actually, like, converted to after Christianity. I mean, I never stopped practicing magic. But you'd be surprised how many Christians practice magic. I mean, hell, I was hearing stories on Paranormal Roundtable about the Amish, that they go out to the woods in secret and do magic spells and shit. I was like, what?
Oh, no Amish area.
Yeah. Well, they can't hear me. They don't have electricity. They don't have TVs.
I mean, that's not what I meant.
Yeah. Well, damn. I thought it was funny.
I know they can't hear you online. That's not what I meant, though.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't go up to an Amish person and be like, you do magic. But yeah, Rastafari was like the first thing that I got into. And by the way, it's not Rastafarian because they don't believe in, some people call it Rastafarianism, and they don't believe in isms. And I kind of like that about their religion. They literally they do not believe in isms. And I was like, that's kind of cool. You know?
What do you mean they don't believe in isms?
There's no such thing as if you hear them talk like it's Rastafari and Rastafari, you know.
Okay.
They don't believe in isms.
I know, but what's an ism?
So take the dictionary and every ism in there, scratch it out.
I know, but what is an ism?
Atheism.
Okay.
They don't believe in atheists. You're just an atheist. They wouldn't acknowledge it. They don't acknowledge isms.
Okay.
Catholicisms, that's not a real thing. They don't believe in isms. You're just Catholic. What, you know, they literally don't believe in isms.
They just don't believe in using the word.
Yeah, there's no such thing as isms. There's no such thing as spiritualisms. It would just be the spirit. You're a part of the spirit.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as spiritualism. Yeah, we do not believe in isms.
Okay, I'm just trying to get a better understanding of what that meant, you know?
Yeah.
Because not everybody would probably understand. Even I didn't understand when you first said it. I didn't understand what you meant by, they don't believe in ism. It's like, well, what's an ism exactly? Is it just a part of a word that, you know, that they tack on to something? Or does it actually have a meaning?
Well, if you tack it onto a word, they just erase the entire word. The word doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It just doesn't exist. It's not a real thing.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's pretty cool though. Like, I actually enjoyed it, and I got into it. Like, they believe that, like, they believe, this is where I left though, because they believe in Jah, and Jah is actually just Jehovah. They like Jesus. They look at Jesus as a prophet. They like Muhammad. They look at Muhammad as a prophet. But they believe that the actual true Son of God, because if you get into theology a little bit, King Solomon had sex with the Queen of Sheba, and the Queen of Sheba left King Solomon's palace. I like the way that he got her into his bed. By the way, the story goes is that they had dinner. He made her have dinner with him. She was just visiting, just wanting to check out, you know, Israel. And he told the chef before the dinner, make sure you put extra, like, spicy, salty-ass seasoning on her plate only.
Yeah, make her thirsty at night.
Yeah.
So she had to go looking for a cup of water into his bedroom.
Yeah. Well, you don't ruin it. I was telling the story to them.
Oh, sorry.
They don't know the story.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. So they put extra seasoning on her plate and stuff, and basically he, like, in the palace they would have like water pitchers everywhere, so you can just kind of go out to the hallway, get yourself a glass of water, whatever. He told all the butlers and stuff, take every pitcher of water out, but leave one. I'm gonna leave my door open and just leave one at the end of my bed. So when she's like her mouth's burning, and of course she doesn't know what Israeli food tastes like, so she's like, this, I guess this is normal. You know, and they're like, they didn't give her much water to drink during the dinner and stuff, so he was setting this up, and she's just looking all over the castle for some water, and she goes past Solomon's room, and she sees like this pitcher in the moonlight. So of course she comes in, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just thirsty, pouring a glass of water. And he seduced her and fucked her. She got pregnant. She left a couple days later, and then basically it was technically the messianic bloodline of King David. It's a Davidic bloodline, and Emperor Haile Selassie of Ethiopia can actually, on paper, he traced his bloodline all the way back to, I believe her name was Makeda, which was King Solomon, one of his many wives of Ethiopia. So they believe that instead of Jesus, because Jesus was technically an offspring of David and Solomon and stuff, instead of that being the Messiah, Haile Selassie, Emperor Haile Selassie would be the offspring. And Bob Marley's wife, there's actually a documentary that Bob Marley's wife had actually met Haile Selassie when she was younger. And she swears, and she says it in her own words, you can watch the documentary, that he held out his hands or like touched her face or something. She said that he had like holes in each of his hand, like Jesus. But I don't know. I mean, I kind of got away from it because of the whole Jehovah worship. And honestly, the way that the world is turning now, like cultural appropriation, and they're even saying now that you can, like, social justice warriors are trying to say that you can only have a religion that is your culture. You can't have another culture's religion, which is fucking bullshit. Any way that you find spirituality, but yeah, any way that you can find, camera cut off. Spirituality is up for grabs, I believe. I don't care what color you are. I mean, your soul doesn't have a race, you know. But BLM had started, Antifa had started, and social justice had started, and I was just like, I don't know. And honestly, I know this sounds bad. I love Bob Marley and I love his music, you know. But I would be watching interviews of him, and like, you know, I remember him interviewing some English reporter, and the English reporter was like genuinely trying to be cool with Bob, and he's like, could I be a Rasta? And Bob was just like, you would not understand. You could never be a Rasta. And I'm like, oh, if that's how, you know, they act to like white people, then fuck this. I don't want to be a part of it. Sad thing is, I actually liked it too, except for the whole Jehovah worship and that. And they do worship Haile Selassie, and I'm like, I'm not going to worship another man, you know. Sorry. But, I don't know. Basically, what got me into podcasting was I started my YouTube channel. I was on there for years, and where I was a bookworm, and like I said, and studying and single, and I got with her, but I was still a bookworm and reading like crazy and studying like crazy, and I was like, man, I want to like talk. I want to talk and share this information with people. And I started a YouTube channel, and the YouTube channel started out as just book reviews. I'd read a book, post a book review. And then I started posting personal videos about my ghost experiences or UFO experiences. Like, you know, I started making occult items and like showing how to make them, how to use them. And I started growing slowly and slowly, and I grew to the point where I was like, I'm going to do a podcast. I just want to do a podcast now. And that's where I'm at, is doing a podcast, you know, and living life, and there we go. Sorry it took so long, but you answered the first question in like 2 seconds. I'm like,
Yeah.
That's why I do a podcast.
Yup.
So, do you want to tell the story of how we met?
Yeah. Sadly, I think it's gonna be another quick one because it was pretty simple. In that, my friend at the time was living next door to you, and she saw you were lonely, knew I was lonely. She tried to already get us to meet like back in February, and that was not long after his divorce, so it wasn't really a good time for him, but I also wasn't in a good position either. I was just like, nah, I'm not.
Neither one of us were ready.
Yeah.
Because she even showed me a picture and everything, and I'm like, I'm a horn dog. I'm like, but I'm not going to be like a whore. I'm not going to try to bang you and leave.
Yeah, and I just wasn't ready to be in a relationship, really. I was in a depression at that time myself, and so I knew it wouldn't be wise to go into a relationship in a depression.
Well, I can't say that I was in a depression because I have depression, so.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I wasn't in the right headspace.
Yeah, and because I wasn't in depression, I wasn't either. So I understood that enough to go, Look, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Shit, I was still going through a divorce and a custody battle.
Yeah, when we met.
And I was like, there's no way I'm dating a girl right now.
We still were young whenever I met you. Because then a few months later, it was in July, just after my birthday, I was over at her apartment. And, well, if it wasn't for her pushiness, because Sabrina's one to definitely push me. I mean, if I resisted hard enough, she won't do it, but... So, like, she heard you open your door, and she knew you were outside, so she just kind of was like, come on, Sammy! And opened the door, and, like, you little fucker.
I don't even know what I opened the door for.
You were cleaning your house.
Oh.
I think it was, you were cleaning it up.
Yeah.
And, so, yeah, that's how we met, and I was already actually about to leave our house anyway and head back home. And, then you, well, I think first she texted me, which I kind of figured you were
she
gonna...
brought me out there to meet you.
Yeah.
And I met you, and I'm just kind of like, why are you having me meet your friend? Like, because I was probably either stoned or just woke up, or...
It was kind of both, like I said, you were cleaning your house at the time.
Yeah, and back then when I used to clean, I used to get high as fuck. So I was probably stoned as hell, like, confused, like,
Yeah.
And then, so I sat down and had a cigarette, and I just remember you were wearing, like, short shorts.
Yeah.
And I was checking out your butt.
Yeah. As I'm driving home, she texts me and is like, hey, can I give him your number and stuff? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Because I kind of knew you were going to ask me out then.
Yeah,
which I knew you were.
I was interested.
Yeah, and I said yes because I knew you were already interested.
Yeah.
So I decided to go with the flow.
Yeah.
So then we made plans for a date. Had our date on August 3rd on a Sunday.
Panera Bread.
Because it was right across the street from where I worked at McDonald's.
See, I thought you said you didn't remember the date of the first date.
It took me a minute. But
It was August 3rd.
Yeah, like I went back.
Well, then we can start celebrating it again.
The first day. Well, that's why I just kind of liked doing it on the 8th, honey. Like, it's already really close, and because that's when we officially said we were going to date.
Yeah.
So I just kind of leave it at that one, you know.
Yeah, we got Panera Bread.
Yeah, we went for a walk at a
Because she was eating healthy at the time, and I was eating like a fat slob. Because I've never stopped eating like a fat slob. And I could barely down that shit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I hate healthy food.
Well, it wasn't really healthy food, though. I mean,
That was the most healthiest grilled cheese that I'd ever fucking had. That was like, I'm like, what's the most unhealthy thing on this menu? Grilled cheese. Just give me a grilled cheese. You know?
Yeah.
And even I was just like, fuck, is this made out of like gluten-free bread or something? I mean, I was just happy to be on a date with a woman, though.
Yeah, because then we went to the park nearby.
Yeah, we went hiking.
Yeah.
Then we sat at a picnic table and talked for like...
About another hour.
Yeah.
And then we went back to Panera so that way you could go home.
Yeah. I said, can I kiss you?
I said yes.
Yeah, and he slipped me the tongue.
Did I?
No, but it was open mouth kiss, so I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
I was like, alright, cool. So I said, I'm guessing second date then?
I said yeah.
Yeah.
And we started dating.
Yep.
And that's how we met.
Yep. Just a random knock on the door while I was stoned.
Yeah, and again,
Cleaning
like I said,
house.
Sabrina was doing the, hey Sammy, come here and meet my neighbor. Like, what? I don't want to meet your neighbor. But she dragged me out there anyway. Because she knew I was about to leave. That's why she knocked on your door. She's like, fuck, Sammy's about to leave, quickly. Hey!
Well, here's a good one for you. Because they don't get to hear much from you. They mostly hear me.
Uh-huh.
So, what is your spiritual path at this current moment? Because everyone's spiritual path changes.
I've never known how to explain it, honestly. It just
Just
is.
explain it the best you can.
Well, that's the best way I can
You
explain it.
would
really.
be surprised
It's
at
just
how...
is. It just, I do what I feel is right, and I go with it. I have my personal beliefs, and what I think a higher being is, and I just honestly live my life. That's about as much as I get on my spiritual path. My spiritual path pretty much is just that. To live my best life. To be the best person I can be. To be a good person. That is my spiritual path. Like, it's as simple as that. I in no way go seeking out anything particular. I don't really do research in any particular religion either. Now, I mean, if I hear something interesting, yes, I'm going to listen. But I don't go seeking it out either, though. I just am.
Yeah.
Like, that is honestly all there is to it for me. Because I believe I'll find out everything when I die.
If you do.
Well, that's what I'm saying, honey. I believe, not you, me,
Yeah.
I believe when I die, that is when I will learn everything.
Mm.
That is my personal belief.
Right.
I'll find out when I die. So I'm just going to live my life here right now.
Well, I guess honestly, my spiritual path would be, I don't know, I consider myself an occultist, and I like being an occultist because a lot of people, they get freaked out when they hear that word. Oh, he's an occultist. They immediately think of like Aleister Crowley or something.
Or something evil.
Yeah, something evil.
That's because of all the propaganda.
Basically, an occultist, like, you take the R word, religion, and you create your own religion. And that doesn't mean that you start a cult or you start a religion. I mean, you can. I think it would be fun to do that. I would so start a cult. But an occultist is basically someone who studies all religion. Not even all religion, just whatever religion you come across. You know, or study in general. Like, there's still a lot of Eastern stuff that I haven't gotten into. I'm more of like into the, I don't know. I take what I like from religion, everything that's good in my eyes, what I feel is good and what feels right to me, and I take those parts out of it and just put it into my spirituality. So, I mean, I've mixed in shamanism. I've mixed in witchcraft. I've mixed in Christianity. I've mixed in Buddhism. I mean,
Yeah.
hell, there's even times I've mixed in Satanism, you know?
And I see, now that actually, I agree with, I will admit, I agree with that ideal of just finding what works best from whatever religion. And that's kind of,
Yeah.
I guess in a sense I'm somewhat of an occultist then.
Yeah.
I am, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I do have my firm belief in that things are connected through some kind of energy like web between all of us, including that of the higher power. I don't quite believe that the higher power is something that is here constantly watching over us like the Christian Bible portrays.
That's almost borderline deist. Not so much that God is dead, but that he's just like, he's not omnipresent.
Yeah, I don't think he is omnipresent because, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, if
I don't either, because sometimes I don't feel him.
well, they're not even just that. I'm sorry, you know, the Christian Bible portrays the higher power as someone who is all loving, merciful, and wants the best for us, right?
Well,
But
no,
yeah.
no.
Well,
The modern Christians believe that. Now, the actual Bible itself portrays them as like
Well,
a fucking hateful,
well, it depends on which testament you're reading too, though.
bearded. No, even the New, it doesn't. Jehovah's not really mentioned much in the New Testament except through Jesus' lips, and he's just like, he's my dad. If you love me, you'll love him. He doesn't talk bad about his dad. He's just kind of like, he's my dad. If you love me, you'll love him. Because he says there's only one way to the Father, and that's through me.
Yeah.
Jesus kind of did his own thing. He's just kind of, Jesus ignored all the weird, crazy, evil shit, and was just kind of like, that's my dad.
Well, that explains why those of today do the same thing.
Yeah.
Because that's what he did. Just ignore all the bad stuff. Just ignore all that.
Yeah.
And
But in the Bible, though, it says you either take the whole book, and I argue with Christians, man, because they'll be like, oh, that's the Old Testament. And I say, okay, let's read the New Testament. What it says in Revelations, it says basically to take the whole book, do not change anything, which the Vatican has taken books out and putting books in, So right there, it says in the Bible that your soul is damned forever to hell. So all these people who took stuff out of the Bible and put stuff in, like, that book was not supposed to be changed at all.
Yeah.
And right there, you've damned your soul to hell. Like, that's, like, unforgivable.
Yeah.
And I argue with the Christians, man. I'm like, you can't sit there and just take half the book and only read from the New Testament. Sorry, you got to read it all, man.
Yeah.
And you'll notice if you go to a preacher, or go to a church, I should say, they only read the happy feel-good passages.
Oh, no, I noticed that.
They don't want to read the weird shit, because there's a story in the Bible, I kid you not, where this guy, he ends up talking to God. I can't remember, you'd have to Google it. It's fucking insane. And God tells him to lay on one side of his body for like a certain amount of days without eating and sleep. And then he says to roll over and lay on the other side for like
so many more days
and sleep without eating. And then he wakes up and he's like, all right, now I want you to poop and cook your food over your poop on fire. Like burn your poop and cook your food with your poop. I kid you not. I kid you fucking not. That's in the fucking Bible. I guarantee you a preacher would never teach that. I guarantee you that. There's weird shit in that book that, for some reason, preachers just go, oh, I didn't know that. I've read the book 6 times, man. I got it right here. I've read this thing 6 times, cover to cover. There's weird shit in it. But, what I was saying though, my spiritual path. I didn't really start getting spiritual. I mean, I was delving in spirituality, but I got discouraged by my ex-wife. I told that earlier, so that kind of turned me off to it. And I almost became very satanic, honestly. You know? Of just, hail Satan, there is no God, God is dead, hail Satan, you know? That became my mindset, because I'm like, I had no support spiritually from my ex-wife.
I found it.
You found it?
Yeah, I'm sorry. You made me curious. I had to find it. So it's in Ezekiel 4:12. Right. He is commanded to eat the food as you would a loaf of barley bread. Bake it in the sight of the people using human excrement for fuel.
Ezekiel 4:12?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll look it up later.
I'm sorry, you
yeah.
I had to
You're
look
good.
it up.
It's fucking insane,
because
right?
you've always talked about it, but I've never looked it up, and so I'm like, okay, I gotta find this shit.
Yeah, Ezekiel 4:12. I told you, I know this book, dude. I can preach better than any fucking preacher out there. I'll go to a random church right now and I'll have a duel with a preacher.
Oh, there's even more, I guess, to it.
Yeah, the whole story is bizarre. But,
so yeah, it's like 12 to 15. There's all this stuff about it.
Ezekiel 4:12 to 15. There you go, guys. And that's off the top of my fucking head, except for the actual verses. I can't pull that shit up off the top of my head. But I know the stories. Okay, so my spirituality, I keep getting distracted, man.
Wow. That's what a podcast is.
Yeah, that's fine. No worries. But I would say, like, I started getting back into spirituality when I went to rehab. And I'm grateful for it because it made me believe in a higher power. Like, I kind of got back into it with ancient astronaut theory because, like, it's the oldest religion. Because I was like, man, and this kind of goes back to, like, you know, like, when I was 19, 18 years old, I was like, there's so much weird shit in the Bible. I know this isn't my path. It doesn't feel right. And I'm not Jewish. I'm not Middle Eastern, so why am I a white dude reading this? I wanted to learn what my people believed. So I got into Celtic mythology, and I read this huge book. I call it the Celtic Bible. It's called Celtic Myths and Legends. I can't remember who it's written by, but it's literally the biggest tome, the most complete set of, like, Celtic mythology that you can find. And I was reading it, and I mean, I got lessons out of it and stuff, but it was very polytheistic, and I was like, that's not right for me. You'd be surprised how many, like, there's Baal in there. Baal is one of the people, one of the gods, which is Phoenician, which is ancient Jew.
Yeah.
so that gets into the whole Atlantis theory. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. But
Stay focused.
yeah, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. What is the oldest religion? And so I was like, Sumeria. Sumeria is the oldest religion. I'm like, fuck all these weird, because if you study mythology, Greek mythology, Celtic mythology, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, they're all telling the same stories. And I'm like, who is the oldest religion and what are their stories? And I got into studying Sumerian mythology, which is the oldest religion. You know, there was Mesopotamia, and then the Mesopotamians became the Sumerians. And as far as we know, that's the oldest religion, except for like basic sun worship and basic serpent worship. Like the very, 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 as far as all my studies, the very first religion was literally serpent worship. People worship snakes because they thought the snakes were immortal because they shed their skin. So they thought that they literally died and were like born again. Like, yeah, that was the first religion, was snakes. The thing that we chop off their heads in our backyards and we don't even think twice about it. But, and I started reading their stories, and honestly it was like, this is literally all the stories in the Bible. The whole Bible is fucking plagiarism. Like, they copied every story almost from Sumerian. I mean, they came up with their own stories, but like, I don't know. But as far as my spirituality, like, I guess I got back into it when I went to rehab, because the teacher that I had, and I'm actually thankful, he wasn't all woo-woo and new agey and stuff. He taught the big book of Bill word for word. He was like an old school big book, you know, like this is everything that Bill intended is the way I'm going to teach it. And I said, well, how is this going to work for me, because I'm agnostic, bro? And he said, I guess the only way that it's going to work for you is you need to find a God. You need to find a higher power. I'm like, fuck. And I'm like, well, this is my last straw. I'm in rehab. Like, I have to find God. And at first, like, it was like, oh, I choose nature, you know. And then that, I mean, I was sober. It was working, but it wasn't feeling like God, you know. I worship Gaia. I worship Mother Earth. I worship Gaia in the positive way, not like the way that, you know, the elites want us to worship Gaia. As far as like, oh, we need to do shutdowns and Agenda 21. No, fuck that. You guys literally are like doing inverted Gaia worship. I do positive Gaia worship. And worship, by the way, I think that people don't even know the actual definition of worship. Worship, a lot of people say, they think that worship is like, oh, I bow down to you, you are my God, I worship you. The actual original definition of worship means to be in allegiance with. You are their ally. You're not supposed to be...
Not subservient to them.
Yep, you are their ally. To be in allegiance with. And if you notice, like in ancient Rome, before these Roman soldiers would go to battles, they'd go to like a shrine and put in coins and pray to the goddess, like, Athena, protect me on the battlefield, you know. They never fucking begged her. They put in their money, they prayed to her, and was like, alright, I'm in allegiance with her. But you never see them begging and, ooh, no. They were in allegiance with. That's actually what worship is supposed to be. You don't acknowledge God as an equal, but you do talk to God as a friend. And that's how I pray. I talk to God as a friend. I don't bow down and kiss the ground. And I mean, unless my life was really fucked up, like if my wife, you know, got her brains blown out after something horrible, or, you know, then I'd really be on the ground begging. But as far as I'm concerned, like, I do good. God does good to me. I worship basically what the Sumerians called the creator of all. and he didn't have a name. It didn't have a name. It didn't have a gender. It didn't have. They just literally, because a lot of people worship the Anunnaki, like the original primitive man worshipped the Anunnaki as the lowercase gods, and they're like, well, what do you guys worship? Because we worship you. You're the gods. What do you guys worship? And that was their response. The creator of all. That's it. There's no story to the creator of all. He's just it. I keep saying he, but it is just the creator of all. You know? And it keeps it simple. Keep it simple, stupid, is something that somebody told me long ago, and it makes sense. And I don't know. It works for me. I just do the best that I can. I'm an occultist. I like studying religions. I like doing I like practicing. And being an occultist is nice because I can practice shamanism at noon. And in that night I can do witchcraft. And then the next morning I can do some Buddhism. And I do whatever the fuck I want. Because I'm an occultist. It's awesome. That's our spiritual path. What's the camera on? Where are you going? Because I'm going
24 or 25 minutes. I'm not going anywhere other than letting Kitty in. Yeah.
Alright, sorry audio listeners, dead air.
Get inside. Come with her face.
Alright, well here's a dark question for you.
Oh God.
Is it tough being married to a conspiracy theorist?
Yes, to a degree, because although I do believe in these things and, I will listen and talk about them and stuff, I'm not one to delve as deep down the rabbit hole as he does. So, like I said, I don't mind hearing it, I don't mind maybe discussing it some, but, and I will tell others about things that you teach me, I do. I do very much. I tell whoever I can, you know, usually people that I work with, but nonetheless I tell people. I try to spread it that way. That's my way of spreading it. It's just to be able to talk to someone about it whenever the chance arises. But I'm not one to do the constant research like you. So sometimes yes, it can be a little bit hard because I'm not as down and deep in the hole like you are.
Yeah. Which I try to blue pill on days off. Like when we're together.
Yeah.
Like I try to go hiking, I try to...
Well, even during our hikes that we're talking about this shit.
You talk about it too, but...
That's what I just said.
We talk about,
we talk
about purple pill shit though. We just get to purple pill level. Like talking about fae folk and shit like that.
Well, I mean, we actually talk about some of the other stuff too. We do.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It's okay that we do it. But sometimes it makes me... Or it makes it hard for me to be able to talk to you, because again, I don't delve as deep down the rabbit hole like you.
Right. So it's like kind of like a kindergartner talking to like a 12th grader.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. And I think that frustrates you, because I'm not on that level with you.
Yeah.
So, honestly, I guess the question does come back. Is it hard to live with someone who's not a conspiracy theorist like you?
I can answer that, yes. It's horrible. But I'm not talking about you.
Yeah.
I'm talking about my ex-wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's part of the reason we split up, man.
Yeah.
I would literally be red pilling her about Christianity.
Yeah.
And the next day she'd be like, so I'm going to bring me and Stella are going to church now. I'm like, that's half my kid too. Like, no, you ain't bringing my kid up with that. And by the way, I'll get into it one day on how my experience, what turned me off with Christianity. Just lay it all out, but yeah, it sucks being married to a completely blue pill person, but you're not blue pilled, you're red pilled. It took you a second to get there, but...
Well, you already know, honey, I see myself more as a purple.
Mm-hmm.
I do see myself as a purple because...
You can't, though. As much as I taught you, you're red, dude.
I'm more red. I'm more of a violet, like that, you know, that red...
You can't add pills. You're red.
Do.
You're red. And you can switch between pills. I've already told you that.
Yeah.
But you're red.
Yes.
But you're red. I'm black. Nah.
Yeah.
I would say I'm actually white at this point.
You definitely jump in between them because
you can change it. It depends on the day. Sometimes.
Well, yeah, it depends on
some
the day
days I wake up.
researching.
Some days I wake up, especially days off, and I'm like blue pill the whole day. You know, I'm just like, I don't want to do anything but play Zelda and fart and eat and watch Netflix.
You don't always do every day off though. Sometimes you still delve deep into something and you learn something new and...
It's hard to plug back in.
Yeah. And see, that I guess that is something where it's different for me and you. I have no trouble plugging back in. I want to know the red pill stuff, but I have no trouble plugging back in either though. I love to watch anime.
But no, is it easy for me to be married to you? No.
Yeah.
Or yes, it is easy. It's not easy, but we function. Like,
yeah.
My ex-wife, it was horrible.
Yeah.
You know? Because, I mean, I was always being put down. Like, you're crazy. You're crazy.
Yeah.
You're making all this shit up. And I'm like, no, it's all out there. It's all in books and, you know, movies.
Yeah.
And everywhere you look, it's everywhere in front of you.
Yeah.
But... honestly, too, though, like, I kind of eased you into it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it wasn't hard, though, either, though, because...
Okay. Alright, the camera cut off again. We would like a good actual video camera, but once again, money, man. This channel's got to be self-sustainable. We're going to set up a tip jar. I mean, the splicer is first. And hell, I'm going to start making t-shirts. I'm going to make t-shirts out of my own money. Just because I want to wear my own t-shirt. And then... if they're like, hey, a bare minimum's 10 shirts, like, I'm going to make 10 shirts. She's getting one, I'm getting one, and then...
we'll give some to other people.
Well, I'd like to sell the rest, so
well, I know, but
buy a splicer.
Yeah, no, I know, but I just meant...
yeah. Because a lot of girls, she even said, like, man, y'all's audio sucks sometimes, and it's like, well, you all can contribute, you know?
Yeah.
I give you an email. And I'm not a psychopath, and a lot of a girl, you live in Canada, I'm not going to drive all the way to Canada and punch Justin Trudeau and then kidnap you. I'll just send it to you. You know what I'm saying? But, dating advice for conspiracy theorists. Ease it in. I'm not trying to be raunchy, but it's almost like butt sex. You can't just go in there forcefully on the first date and be like, 9/11 was an inside job. Or else you will not get a second date. Like, you didn't know for the longest time I was a conspiracy theorist, I don't think.
Well, no, I mean, in a sense I did, because again, the first thing that we kept always talking about was the ancient aliens. And you did mention 9/11 some, and this is like within our first year just being together.
First year, though.
Yeah.
When did I first bring up, like, okay, not even a conspiracy theory, but, like, because I probably eased you in with, like, do you believe in ghosts? Something stupid like that. Because I try to, no offense, but ghost is, like, bottom of the pyramid.
Yeah, no,
So,
yeah,
like, the first question, you can bring that up on a first date, like,
yeah.
do you believe in ghosts?
Yeah, no, I mean, that makes perfect sense. Honestly, I didn't know. I couldn't tell you the exact time of year, the month, the day. I can't tell all that. I just know within the first year.
I did ease it in, though.
Yeah, but you didn't really have to, I ain't gonna lie, because I already was interested.
You were very acceptable of it.
Yeah, because I was already interested.
That's why I was like, oh, this chick likes it. So I just kept feeding it. I'd feed, like, breadcrumbs, like,
yeah.
Okay, so what do you think about, you know, like,
this.
And then now I'm to the point I'm like, I don't believe in nuclear bombs. And you're like, I do. Why? How can the camera be right here, and the nuclear bomb goes right here, and the house goes right here?
I believe in them. Look, I believe that it exists.
No, I didn't say you did. I was just picking. Like, now that's how I am.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll wake up one morning and be like, Russia was Tartaria. And you're like, no, it's Russia. There's no such thing as Mongols. Like, Mulan was actually Joan of Arc.
Yes, I mean, I do have trouble with those ones sometimes. It's not that I don't believe in Tartaria.
I'll be looking at old Tartarian buildings like, that's fucking Tartaria, dude. And you're like, no, it ain't. No, it ain't.
I'm like, that's just a normal building.
No, it's not.
Because I do understand that sometimes buildings really are purposely built with a lower level and that little bit of a window to let some of the natural light in. Are they like big windows? No, like they're sometimes literally built with, you know, so much of a window just so like natural light.
Well, fuck Tartaria. I'm giving you dating advice though. Do not bring up conspiracies on the first day. I would say ease it in with like something like, this is how I eased it in with her as far as I can remember, was I was probably like, I probably did on the first date ask her like, so what's your religion? If you have one.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a good first date question. Like,
yeah, I think we talked about that kind of stuff.
yeah. And I was just like, at the time, I was agnostic. I'm like, I'm just agnostic, meaning I don't know if there is a God or if there isn't. You know? I said I was born and raised Christian. My dad was a preacher.
Yeah, and I mentioned my factor that, you know, I was raised to believe in the Bible, and we went to church, but it was kind of a...
You were agnostic too, though, weren't you?
Yeah. Well, once you gave me that word for it, I was able to identify
You didn't even have a word for it.
No, because I just knew that I didn't...
It just makes it easier to say, like, if someone's like...
That I believe something's there, but not...
Yeah, because I get people at work that... Well, not now, because I do believe in God, but it takes a minute to explain my version of God to their version. Yeah. But, like, back in the day, people would be like, man, I thank God every day, you know, God is good. And I'd just be like, I'm agnostic. And they'd just be like, oh. And I'd be like, it's no big deal. No, you know, you believe whatever you want. It kind of brings a little coldness to the room, but it's like, oh, no biggie. I'm not mad at you. Just saying, like, before you start getting on a roll about Jesus, like, I'm going to cut you off real quick because I don't care.
Yeah.
Figure it'd save you some breath.
But yeah, it can be difficult sometimes, but not always.
I would say when you first start dating someone, though, like, as far as I can remember, I probably eased it in with, like, silly stuff, like, do you believe in ghosts? And, oh, you do? Do you like ghost stuff? Or,
yeah,
you know,
like the ancient astronaut theory, which I was totally into.
Yeah, you actually were really into that.
Yeah, because it sounds very, very fascinating. I'm not going to lie, that sounds like a very fascinating way to think of us coming to this planet.
And it makes sense. I still haven't. I've never thrown away the ancient astronaut theory. To this day, I'm still an ancient astronaut theorist. You know?
Yes, I do definitely think it's a high probability, not saying 100%, but it's a high probability that that's how life went.
Most have. You've done a couple spells with me.
Yeah.
Witchcraft. We've prayed together. I mean, we've smudged. We've went ghost hunting. We're on the same path. See, I'm surprised when I asked you your spiritual path, though, because one thing that you're really into, I felt like for a minute, was like stones and stuff.
And I still am. I have trouble taking in information, especially by myself.
Yeah.
I would love to find someone who I could genuinely talk to about, who already understands these things, the stones and how they work and all this, that, and the other. Like, someone I could actually genuinely talk to.
Yeah, it's hard in Kentucky, dude. We had a neighbor, like, before here that we gave him a geode.
Oh, yeah, and he didn't want it because
he's, like, super Christian. And we gave him a geode, which is literally, like, all it does is, like, it banishes evil spirits and banishes bad energy. And, like, the Native Americans believe this shit. Like, it's a rock. At the end of the day, dude, it's a rock. Like, and it literally, the rock is, like, banishes demons.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. And he's like, give that back to him. They put it back on our doorstep. I'm like, a bunch of fucking weirdos, dude.
Yeah. I mean, she didn't care, but yeah, he was all like,
get that out of my house. Get that out of my house. It's a rock, dude. You just put it by your doorway.
Which really, you know, it's only like a...
Even my dad, sorry.
You okay?
Even my dad was super religious, but he used to hang horseshoes over the doorway. My dad was a dowser. And his dad was a dowser. I'm a dowser. Like, William's bloodline, for some reason, we are awesome dowsers.
Yes, you are.
And, like, we're like a Christian family, but my grandpa would fucking he'd pull fucking two hangers and bend them, and sons, go find me a well. And my dad David was kind of good, my dad said, Uncle Dave, and then my dad would get him, and he was an awesome dowser, and he'd just show me yes, show me no, alright, and he'd just walk, you know, and he'd find a well every time, because they used to dig their own wells, but... Yeah. But what were you saying? And they were super Christian, so, like, technically that was a sin, but they're like, fuck it, we need water, you can sin, you'll be alright, ask for forgiveness later. You know? Yeah. That's what I was saying earlier, is a lot of Christians behind closed doors do magic, they just don't admit it. they'll do a magic spell on Saturday night and then ask for forgiveness on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What's our next question?
Dating advice, just ease it in. Ease it in. Alright. Well, here, I'm going to throw a tough question at you then.
Oh, no.
Are you going to do any more solo episodes like Ghost Stories with Sammy?
I want to.
Like that one you did.
Yeah, I want to. Honestly, in this episode, if anyone did like that, let me know in the comments and let me know if I should continue or not, because...
She did one solo episode, it was Ghost Stories.
Yeah, and I don't... See, okay, I'll already admit, I'm not like him, I can't just talk. But I can read something, sure, and I can put my input on the story here and there, but to generally just sit there and talk forever, no, I can't do it. As y'all can probably already tell, my answers to questions are real short, and then yours are really long, which is fine, but you know, like already we see that difference, so I don't mind doing that. I don't mind at all reading a story. You guys want me to read more stories? Trust me, I can.
Okay, but the question was, sorry, camera died, batteries died this time. Are you gonna do any more solo episodes when I'm not at work and stuff?
Yeah, and I said that I'd be willing to, but also wouldn't mind if you guys told me if you'd like me to. I mean, because I'm not much of a ranter like Kim.
Yeah.
So, but I can read a story for you. I mean, and we have plenty of ghost books to read from. I got plenty.
You would be more like Raven reads.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be hard to
Shout out!
And it wouldn't be hard to find any online too. I found this one dude. He started on Reddit.
I just don't want any fake shit.
Well, I mean, no offense, but even the books, you don't know if the person who told you that story.
Well, it says on the book it's allegedly real. I don't want anything fake. I don't want creepypasta.
Well, no, I didn't say creepypasta, honey. I said literally Reddit.
Unless it says these are all true stories.
Which, as I was saying,
yeah,
that there's a dude that I started to read, and he was telling they were starting to tell their story, and that like this has been going on for years for them, and they decided to finally tell their story. So they were giving them kind of like, and they were purposely doing it like episodes too. Like here's an event, here's an event.
See, I don't trust that shit.
Well, no, they said it's real.
Okay. Well,
but they said this has been going on my whole life. That I'd rather just give you an experience here, give you an experience there.
Well, that sounds cool.
Yeah, and they're really good at writing.
I just don't want to put tacky fake shit on.
No, it sounds real as legit. It doesn't sound like it's been exaggerated or something. Like they were like, look, this is it. This is what's happened.
But yeah, I thought some Japanese mythology would be cool because I'm not big on Easter and stuff, but you are. But I don't mind learning and hearing about it.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to go out of my way to study it.
Yeah.
Like Japanese mythology and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know, I thought it'd add some flavor.
Sure. If the people wants it, I will do it.
Alright, so what is your favorite conspiracy? And it doesn't even have to be, because that's a weird word to say, is like, what's your favorite, but what's the one that you find most interesting?
Yeah. Well, I guess honestly, ancient astronaut. That one to me is the most interesting to me. I don't know, it just fascinates me the most.
I reached the bottom of that rabbit hole, so.
Oh, I mean, yeah, we've already reached as much info as we're going to get on it. I figured that out with you, but it still is the most interesting to me.
Yeah.
That is the most interesting, definitely, because, and honestly, you know.
It makes sense.
It can tie in even with Tartarian stuff, because just ancient things, I'll put it that way, anything ancient is fascinating to me. It is interesting to me, because it is so, I guess the reason why I find it so interesting is because I will not actually ever get to know the real answers ever, because it's already happened, and a lot of it is either lost or could be lied to me about.
Or exaggerated.
Yeah, or even exaggerated, yeah. I mean, let's say what we have been told, even of ancient Greece and Rome and stuff, is true. Like, whatever they tell is true. Even they exaggerated it, or they didn't have a more appropriate, but like to them again, like a dinosaur was a dragon.
Right.
You
That's
know-
what I believe.
Okay, but
That almost goes into creationism.
but you see what I'm saying? Like they didn't have a word for dinosaur for something that we have now.
They didn't
So-
come up with the word for dinosaur until like the
Right.
1800s or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, but you see my point. So
The
like
Bone
even,
Wars.
Yeah. And so it was hard for even them, or they explained what happened in their life or experienced or whatever to the best of their ability. But how much of it is exaggerated? How much of it is like again
Word of mouth.
Yeah, there's that. Well, I mean, if you see, it's like someone in jury duty. He described this guy or what happened that night. Well, for them, in their mind, they might have seen it like this gigantic monster.
You got telephone effect.
Or not even telephone, honey. Just your mind came up with the best thing it could use to describe even to yourself. So when you tell someone, well, I saw this 8-foot tall thing.
That's why, honestly, it makes me kind of mad. Like my mom, like she always says I exaggerate stories, and even before I tell a story, I try to like simplify it as boring as possible.
Well, it's not even so much simplifying and boring.
No, in my head,
Oh.
before I even tell the story, I'm like, how can I, like if it's like my demon experience, like
Yeah.
I make it as less detailed as,
Yeah.
I don't want it to sound
Super
over
crazy.
the top,
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if I'm just bullshitting,
Yeah.
and it's like it's an actual story, but it's not really that important. Yeah, I'm gonna fucking tell a tall tale
Yeah.
because everyone's drinking beers or smoking joints, and
Yeah.
we're just having fun.
But
But if
yeah.
I'm like having a serious conversation, like this legit happened to me, man.
Yeah.
Like I try to like keep it as just like detail oriented, as just simple and
Oh, pardon me.
not. I'm
But
not
yeah.
like. And then I heard a creak in the floorboard. I'm not doing campfire shit.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I feel like a lot of ancients, whenever they did tell their stories, they did try to make it very
Theatrical.
yes, and
You gotta think how bored they would have been. There's
Oh,
no
no,
television, no radio.
yeah, that was their best way
Yeah.
of entertainment. I don't doubt that. That's
So
not
they
what I'm
had
saying.
to tell a story like that.
Yeah, but then that makes it harder for us to really pick out what's the most accurate of that story.
Right.
Factually true. Like this part, yeah, it happened like that. He did see an 8-foot tall minotaur. Hell, as hard as we know, minotaurs are real. He really did see an 8-foot tall
I mean,
minotaur.
if you go with the ancient astronaut perspective, they were splicing genes with us. So
Well, yeah,
they were
so-
making chimeras too.
Yeah. So, but you see my point of where it's kind of hard to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I'm wanting to really know what part of this is true. I want to know, and so that's why it's so fascinating to me, just to hear the stories and then to try to figure out, well, do I think this part's real? Do I think that part's real?
Yeah, and to me, I think that kind of gets into the whole John A. Keel, that favorite line of mine that I fucking love, dude. Especially, I went to an AA meeting one time and I used it because we got on to what is God, because you have to have a higher power.
Yeah.
So everyone in the room went on their own version of the higher power. You had old Hillbilly John over there, Jesus is the only higher power. Everything else is Satan, you know. And then this guy, we had poor Ollie, he's dead now. He was a gay guy talking about, I believe that God's an alien, and he's got super long fingernails, and his hair's shooting out like light. I'm like, I love you, Ollie. Me and you are on the same wavelength. God's an alien that's made of light, and he's got super long fingernails, and his hair's shooting out in all directions. That's God to me. I'm like, yup, same, bro. Fuck the Jesus dude. Sorry. AA meetings get weird.
No, there wasn't actually. I do remember
But
meetings.
Yeah, I told him, I said, I said, I know this sounds weird, and I know it sounds crazy, but this line has always stuck with me. That John A. Keel, he says in like the movie, Mothman movie, he was an actual person, but he says, the guy's trying to figure out, well, what is it? What's Mothman? What is it? What's Indrid Cold? What are these things? And he says, you're not allowed to know.
No, we're not.
You're not allowed to know.
I figured that out without ever
Yeah.
hearing that.
But I
figured that
think,
out.
though, a lot of people get disappointed and discouraged with that, and I think that's the funnest part, though, because that kind of gets into the Grail quest.
Yeah.
I've tried to explain the Grail quest with people, like, I'm on my Grail quest. I found my Holy Grail, you know. But the Grail quest, the whole point of the quest is you find yourself you're looking for this stupid cup.
Yeah.
And half the time the cup's right in front of you.
Yeah.
Or you figure out what your actual personal Grail is on the quest. The whole thing is like you're looking at the finish line, trying to find the finish line, and the whole point of
the journey.
It's the journey. It's the journey. Yep.
It's the journey there, not the destination.
And that's why I say, like, I don't think I'll ever stop podcasting, because it's always going to keep going. There's always going to be something out there.
Yeah, now for me, I figured out long ago, we're not meant to know.
Yeah, you're not allowed to know.
Nope. However, that's where I also go, like earlier when you asked my spiritual path, it's I'll find out when I'm dead. That's when I get to know.
And it'll be that amazing DMT trip that every human being has while they're dying.
Either that or
that's when you get to know.
I think there is going to be a
judgment day.
Well, no.
Another side.
Yeah.
Yeah, break on through to the other side.
And I do think I will. I
hope
have a few
so,
ideas.
man. I hope it's so fucking cool.
I have a few ideas of what that other side could be. I'm not pinpointing on one particular one yet. But I do think either I'm going to get to talk to that higher power and ask them, like, okay, so I have questions.
Yeah, I do want to do that first. Yep.
But honestly, I'd rather do it this way. I'd rather be like, okay, here's my one question of, may I go back through time as just that of a spirit?
A fly on the wall.
Yeah, I just want to watch it all happen again.
Yeah, the truth.
Yeah.
And nothing but the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to go through life to watch all these certain events.
I always said if there is like an actual like God that we were able to talk to, like I always said I would be annoying as soon as I came into like the afterlife. I would be annoying.
Yes, you would.
I'd be like, knock, knock, knock. Hey, God. What? I'm busy. What are you busy doing? I don't know. Controlling everything? Well, do you have a second? What's your name again? Abe. Come in, Abe. What do you want? You got like 100 years? Because I got a huge list of questions.
Oh yeah, you just be able to like have this like magical, like in a film that you just flash out this long ass freaking list of questions.
And he'd just be like, and I'm like, I gotta know. We're gonna start easy. Sasquatch, real? No, he's not real. Fuck. And I'll have a yes and no box. Aliens, real? Yes, they're real. Are they interdimensional or physical? Interdimensional. Okay. Bermuda Triangle, real? Nope. Just a bunch of shitty pilots. Oh, fuck. 9/11, inside job? Dude, you already know this one. Okay, thank you.
I just love verification.
Yep. I'm going to go through all of it, dude. And I'm going to keep them. And then as soon as I get every question that's answered, I'm like, and he goes, what do you want? I'm going to go, I want to sleep for a year straight. I don't want to see my dead grandpa. I don't want to see my dead grandma. I don't want to see my ancestors. I just want to sleep for a year straight because I feel like I don't get enough sleep. And I just want to go, no dreams, nothing, just, and I want to be like completely rested when I get up. And then I'll meet
everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
And then even after I meet him, I am going to tell God, like, look, man, I am kind of a hermit, though. I want, like, my little space. Like, you know.
Yeah.
I don't want to be hanging out with Grandma forever.
I think when people talk about that, though, I don't really think they mean you're going to constantly always be in contact with them. I think it's just that, again, that nice thought of when I die, I get to re-see all those people that I used to enjoy my time with here.
Yeah.
And now I get to spend it with them there whenever I want, however long I want. But I don't think that, again, I don't think it would literally, I don't even think they mean, I'm going to be with them 24/7, like we're never going to be apart from each other.
Here's what I think, because like Christianity says that everything's perfect, right? Mm. So like I always wanted to go fishing with Papaw.
Yeah.
Because I knew him as a tiny boy, like a toddler.
Yeah.
and I knew he liked fishing, and I always wanted to go fishing with him.
Yeah.
And I know he'll be able to have legs again and walk again. And
Oh yeah, yeah.
but where they say heaven's perfect in the Bible, I'm like, I don't want it to be perfect. I want it to be kind of like an arcade. Like me and him can go fishing and maybe we catch fish.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't. I want some struggle. That's the fun part of being a human being is like I don't want everything to be perfect.
Yeah.
I want it to be more like an arcade. Like I put the coin in
Yeah.
and I want struggle. You know, me and Pebble are still hanging out, but I want it to be natural feeling, not like, hey Pebble, I got a huge shark.
Well, see, again,
Let's eat it.
I think that right there. I think that right there.
I don't want that.
And hold on. I think that right there is actually just someone's ideology, opinion.
Yeah, the ancient Jews.
Hell yeah, could have just been them. Again, you'll never
that they had it so rough. They had it so rough that they just wanted perfection.
Yes, and do I really think that's going to happen? Hell no. I
just think like perfection would take the fun out of it.
It would.
I think honestly too though.
It would.
I think I would get bored with heaven.
I mean, cause think about it. Look at
the way like if heaven is like the Christian heaven, I think I'd get bored with it.
Yeah, but I mean, like look at even how the Bible portrays Jesus' life. Even he understood, man, things aren't perfect, but that's okay. They don't have to be.
Yeah.
Things don't have to be perfect.
I just feel like heaven would be like a simulation, and I'd be like fighting goblins with a sword in the woods. And then eventually, though, I'd come home to you and be like, "Can I just cease to exist? I'm bored."
Yeah, once you got to do everything.
I'd be bored.
Yeah, eventually. But that's where I gets to.
That's why, honestly, like I know it sounds horrible, but like atheist, everyone bashes on atheists, but I'm like, ceasing to exist actually sounds fucking nice.
Well, that's why
like no heaven, no hell, you just, and everyone's like, you would want to be trapped in eternity for darkness, and I'm like, you're not wrapping your head around this.
You have no idea
you have no consciousness. God is all in your head, heaven's all in your head. Like you just cease nothing. It's like turning off a light switch. That's it. Done.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. Now, see, that's where I say.
To me, that's complete peace.
In reincarnation, though, ain't too bad. Again, you
reincarnation. Now, I like that. I like that.
Again, you get to do some of the cool, fun stuff in the after dimension.
So we're getting into the former question. Your spiritual path. They're talking about spirituality,
well,
which is fine.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying this is my personal spirituality. I'm
reincarnation
just saying,
would be dope.
But yeah, that's where I'm thinking of reincarnation as a good way, because like I said, if you've done everything in heaven, you've done everything in that other dimension, you get bored.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll go back to Earth, I guess, and just live another life.
What was that Amelito episode that resonated with both of us? Both of us watched it and we were just like... He dies in a car wreck.
Okay. Oh, he was everybody.
That shit was cool.
He was everybody.
That shit was cool.
God, in that episode, told him he is every human being on this life.
Mm-hmm.
He is meant to keep living a different person, a different
lifetime,
but also just he is every culture, every race.
He's everyone.
Yeah, he's literally everyone on the planet Earth.
Like he's like, my wife is me, and he's like, yep. You're married to yourself.
Well, you don't know it because you're just meant to learn a lesson. You're meant to learn every lesson you possibly can.
Yep.
But now
to ascend.
Yeah, but at the same time, that makes me wonder. Then, is that everybody? That's a good question right there. Like, look at you.
Because he even said like he was even like the terrorist who shot kids and stuff. Yeah.
I mean,
and the kid dying at the same time.
Yeah, he
was omnipresent.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I guess that actually goes into that spiritual pathway of, do you think that higher power is every... See, I've actually kind of... That one did resonate with me in the sense that the energy is everybody. We are the...
That's what I was wanting you to say, the E word.
The energy?
Because when I asked you that question, I thought you'd say the E word.
It crossed my mind, but at the same time, it just didn't quite come out.
Yeah, that's the way you explain your spirituality to me, and that's what I was wanting you to do for them.
Yeah. Okay,
energy.
So yes, so that we are all one energy, and that the higher power is an energy of itself, and that energy flows within all of us, which is why we can feel them. but why sometimes you might not feel that higher power because maybe you cut off the flow of energy.
Kind of like standing 6 feet apart.
Oh, yeah. Well, kind of, but not. I mean, even if you're standing 6 feet apart, that energy is like a grid field.
If they can blast it that far.
Yeah, but we.
Because I can blast my energy and someone can feel it fucking like 20 feet away.
Well, exactly. So that's why to me, it
sometimes I come in blasting and I don't even know it, and everyone in the room's just like, "Oh shit, what the fuck just walked in here?" And I'm like, just having a good old time. And I look over and they're like, "You alright, Abe?" I'm like, "Yeah, just having fun."
Yeah.
Just blasting.
Yeah.
I'm like Super Saiyan.
Not everyone can do that because I feel like we've lost the ability to do that.
Yeah.
We hear all this stuff within the Bible, right, of people just knowing things, doing things, because I feel like back then we were more connected to this energy flow. We were much more aware of it, and we much more interacted with it.
They said the ancients, they didn't even talk.
Yeah, I can believe that.
They literally would just walk past each other and just look at each other, and like they were so connected with what we used to be, like the Egyptians and the Sumerians. They literally just like, it would just be like, they just walk up and like say like, "I'm obviously telling you what to do," but like I just walk up to you and be like, "Hand me my wallet."
Just grab it and hand it to
do
you.
it. Yeah.
Which, no, I mean, it makes sense. We still do that even
like,
now.
Thank you. Like no one talked.
Yeah.
They always just be like, they wouldn't even have to point. They would just be like,
Yes.
Okay.
Now, I do believe we still do that. People don't always notice that they're doing it, but sometimes you just know what that person wants without them. And sometimes it even is with strangers.
Joseph and Nikki did it, man. They're on that level. Joseph and Nikki. Joseph one time, he was like watching a movie with her, and he just got up, fixed her a drink, and came back in. No one said anything, and he just gave it to her. And she's like, "How did you know?"
Well, okay, now I have an opinion on
like,
this.
It's just like projected. Like,
I have an opinion on this.
She's
now,
just like, "I'm thirsty. Can you fix me a drink?"
This does happen more so with your partner because you are on a certain level with them at that point. Now, when it happens with complete strangers...
Well, you do it to me all the time, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But again, that's because you're my partner. We are on this other different level.
Connected, man.
Yeah, and it takes time to build that connection sometimes, too. You know, it takes people time. Some people, now, if you do it with a complete stranger, though, like if you just know what they want before they even come in, like I've done it, I know exactly what that person walked in this store for, and I know exactly what they're going for. That is definitely you already being able to connect in that field of energy.
And you can connect with strangers.
Yeah, you can.
I connect with people a lot, but the only reason I do is because I used to be a fortune teller.
Well, it's because you were connecting with the field.
Yeah.
You purposely were
like
connecting with the
field.
field.
I've read people, you know.
Yeah. Now, some people have a more natural ability for that than others. Some people have to work harder for it.
Sometimes it sucks though, man. Sometimes it almost is like a curse. Because it's like, I'm in a good mood, I'm just trying to get my job done and go home. And then I got somebody coming in here with some funky ass weird shit. And I'm reading them and I'm like, get away. I just want to get the job done and go home. I don't want to feel what's inside your head.
Yeah, that's where you would need to be able to learn how to walk that off at times.
Yeah, I've gotten better.
To use it only when you're wanting it.
I've gotten better the older I've gotten.
Yeah. Alright, what's our next question?
What's your favorite paranormal subject? Because I know you like paranormal more. We're going into a little bit of paranormal there.
Probably the Fae folks.
Fae folk?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I ain't gonna lie, I'm on the same page.
I mean, I like ghosts too. Like, ghost stories interest me.
My thing is with ghost stories...
Folk. I feel like those are actually pretty even. Ghosts and Faes are pretty even.
It's 50-50.
Yeah, in my, interest. Don't get me wrong, Sasquatch sounds interesting, but not as much as these two ones for me.
Yeah. Sadly, there's a lot of hoaxers with Squatch.
Yeah, or even Dogman, or Mothman even sometimes. It's like, how much is that one true? Not saying he's not true, just saying
Yeah.
the other stories that come out. That's what I'm trying to say.
The older I've gotten, I want to see Fae too. Like,
Yeah. Well, you're supposed to do that spell with the milk.
to get the gnome to show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will. I'll find it again. I got so much on my plate. It's hard to keep up. Yeah, I mean, as far as like ghosts, like I've been reading ghost stories since I was like literally like a kid. So like I'm kind of bored with it. I mean, when you've literally like heard and read and
Yeah, I've already can tell that you're not interested in ghosts as much
well,
anymore.
it's not that I'm not interested in it. Like sometimes I'm like challenging them to show themselves, so I want to see them.
Well, that's not what I meant by
But I'm just kind of bored with it because
Yeah.
like I was a little kid and I'm like.
So again, you're not interested.
But I'm into Fae though. I
Yeah.
would love to see a fucking gnome.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, why would you invite that in there? It's a demon, and it's like, dude, it's a gnome.
Yeah.
I mean, they're tricksters, but I'm a fucking trickster, bro. But yeah, I would love to see a gnome.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to see a nymph because I think I would try to fuck it.
Or she could try to fuck you.
I wouldn't fuck it. I wouldn't cheat on it.
No, I know.
But a gnome, I do want to just catch a gnome and just pull his pants down and just bap him on the butt once. And just fucking throw him in the bushes.
Oh my god. That's
Yeah.
weird.
No, I just want to see one. Fae folk, man, that's what I'm into
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. I definitely think Ghost and Fae are my 50-50
And
favorite.
the Fae folk, they actually tie in with like Christianity. Like, okay, like when the angels had their battle, when Lucifer rebelled against Jehovah, yeah.
Sorry, just the way you said it.
Yeah. When Lucifer rebelled against Jehovah, Michael threw Lucifer out of heaven. And then on the way down to heaven, you had the fallen angels. They were angels and then they became fallen angels. Meaning they fell from heaven to earth. But in between, there were some that didn't, they kind of like branched off. I believe it was just talking about a meteor shower, but you know, that's astrotheology. They became the Fae folk. So the Fae folk were the ones, the angels who didn't so much side with Lucifer or Jehovah. They were just like, I'm neutral, I don't know who to side with, I don't know which one's gonna win, I'm not good or bad, I don't know. They became the Fae folk. They became the gnomes, the elves, the trolls, the goblins,
Well, see, I would think actually they were just already here, like the jinn. They were just already here, but when they saw the war between,
they were neutral.
yeah, they were just like, dude,
Who knows
we're
what
not,
was going on back
we're
then.
not putting our finger in any of that. We're going to stay over here. Y'all have your shit.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they were just neutral though.
Kind of like the jinn, really. I mean, the jinn were just like, dude, we're not putting our finger in this shit either.
No.
Now they decided.
Hasatan.
Okay, that's one.
Okay, Hasatan was the leader of the jinn, which is where you get the word Satan. Hasatan. It actually comes from Set, but Islam is like a newer religion. It's actually the newest of the Abrahamic, but they believe that there was a jinn named Hasatan, who he actually got jealous that God created angels and man, and said, I will bow down to neither angel nor man. And that was the first rebellion before Lucifer. There was actually a rebellion before Lucifer if you read the Quran.
So, did he side with one of the sides, or did he just stay out of it?
He started his own side.
Well, that's what I meant.
And he left.
Well, that's so.
There was
I'm
no
right.
battle.
That's what I'm saying. So technically, I'm right. He said, "I'm not putting my finger, and you're all shit. Like I'm just."
God told him Jehovah or Allah. At this point, you'd call him Allah. Allah and Jehovah are the same thing.
Yes.
Allah and Jehovah are the same thing. Get over it. Sorry. For anyone who wants to hit me up in the comments, you can. I'll argue with you any day. Allah and Jehovah are the same thing.
Yeah, so go on.
But Hasatan, he said, fuck your angels, fuck your humans. We were on the planet back when it was all flooded and it was they were jinns. Remember how the Holy Spirit was set, like, whether you believe it's flat or round, it was all water. And the Holy Spirit was like one ghost, and he literally just, in silence, sailed all over this body of water. Okay. The jinn were also flying above the water.
Well, yeah, we already know that they were here before. That's what I'm saying. They were here before the humans.
This earth was already inhabited by them.
Yes, so
that's what the Quran says.
I know, but what I'm saying is even the jinn had nothing to do with the angels and God.
Well, yeah, that's what I just said. He said, "Fuck God, fuck you, God, fuck your angels."
So we already agreed. I didn't understand.
He left though. There was no battle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's how they all. I mean, that's why the jinn still walk on the earth, and that's why they're trapped in bottles and whatever Iraqi soldiers bring home items, they're usually bringing home jinn. They stay in items or just walk around. I mean, there's footage of jinn, you know.
Alright, so what's the next question?
What's your favorite spiritual subject?
I don't know.
That might be a lame question. I was writing it on break.
No, you get. I mean, I honestly don't know. What would? I mean, I guess all of it.
All of it.
Yeah, really, all of it.
Yeah.
Because it's all debatable, really.
Yeah. My favorite spiritual interest right now would be I have something planned. I've been wanting to make an athame for Witchcraft. I have 2 occult item episodes planned. It's just every day off we end up going hiking. You know, I need to choose like a rainy day to just stay home and make these items because I miss making the occult items. I want to make a wooden athame and wood burn it, you know, get some leather and actually make the handle and make a proper athame, like a felt sheath and everything. Just make it a proper athame and just spend a whole day making it. That would be a cool item to put on the collection because I collect occult items. I found multiple videos. I want to learn how to make pagan prayer beads. You keep them on you. It's kind of like rosaries, honestly, but it's pagan.
Yeah, rosaries.
I've collected multiple videos on how to make those. I would like to pick out beads and just make my own pagan prayer beads.
Yeah.
And make it with you guys and maybe do a podcast. Make an audio. I don't know how interesting it'd be, but make it in audio form and visual form, obviously, for audio listeners. Spiritual, what I'm interested in right now, spirituality, I've always wanted to delve into spiritualism.
Isms don't exist.
I'm not a Rasta anymore. I already told you earlier, I left Rastafari.
I know, but you did say you believe in that particular part of it,
No, I said I admire it.
Oh, okay.
I admire the audacity of it.
Yeah.
Spiritualism's cool though, because they take like Christian hymns and hymnals, like, and I could get a Christian hymnal from my mom, like, cause she has a whole stack.
Yeah.
From our old church, but it's weird. Like Abe Lincoln, a lot of people think Abe Lincoln was a Christian, and he was actually a spiritualist. And Bill, who created AA, was a spiritualist, and their belief system's awesome. Like, there is no hell. You kind of like, there is a judgment day, and God kind of like smacks you around, and then he's just like, all right, now you cease to exist. Like, he just beats you up. You know, like, it's kind of like the Egyptian stuff. Like, you suffer for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's a horrible, horrifying thing, and then. But they also believe, like, they're into, like, honestly, like, Ouija boards and dowsing and pendulums. They're real big. Spiritualism is like, very positive. They believe in God. Yeah. They believe in heaven. They sing Christian hymns, but they believe, like, you can play with Ouija boards, do seances, all that shit. And I've always found it interesting, but I can't. Abe Lincoln was a spiritualist. Bill W. was a spiritualist. I don't know. I always thought it was cool and neat, and I've always wanted to study it. And I think honestly, it's one of those religions I would like convert to.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely seems right up your alley.
But that's it as far as like,
Oh, pardon me.
you know, what I'm interested in spirituality right now. What's your favorite cryptid and/or entity? Now this is ghost, demon, jinn, fae, cryptid, alien, whatever.
I guess I kind of already answered that, didn't I? Ghosts and fae folk in general.
No, you have to choose a specific one, like a popular one. It doesn't even have to be popular.
I guess whenever I listen to Expanded Perceptions, my more favorite ones are hearing the stories of like, actually shadow people, I guess, really. Just hearing the story. Like, hearing the story anyway. Like, do I actually want to experience it?
No, that's what I'm saying though. Like your favorite, but you would also want to experience that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well then ghosts, just simply ghosts. Like that.
Like a ghost.
Yeah.
You've never seen a ghost.
No.
I've seen multiple.
Yeah, I have not.
You felt them though.
Finally, all it gave me was a on the back of my neck, this little tiny breath, and I was like, seriously, that's all you give me. This place is haunted, as all get out. Here are these stories, and all you give me is a
right
on the back of my neck. Like, you suck. But no, technically, I still I count that, but I don't count it because, like I said, it was such a small little experience. Like that's all that freaking happened.
Right.
So yeah, I would like to see more. That's why I like the idea of going ghost hunting.
Yeah, and we can always keep going.
Yeah.
I want to do that tunnel out by Kentucky River.
Yeah, on 68.
I think that'd be a cool ass video. They would love it.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much that one would be haunted though. It might be. I don't know.
Well, there's that old moonshiner bar that's supposed to be haunted or something.
Oh, and that one is. Because they.
We couldn't sneak into it though, but.
No, there ain't no way.
I think you can't tell me that some drunks didn't sleep in that tunnel though.
Probably back before they gated it up, yeah, maybe. I don't
It wasn't
doubt.
gated when we went to the tunnel.
Oh, oh wait, are you talking about like? Alright,
It's
are you
literally
talking about?
right there next to it.
Hold on, are you talking about the one where because we used to drive past it?
We've been in it and took pictures.
Okay,
We
that
filmed
one.
there actually before in
Yes.
daylight, but it'd be cool to ghost hunt it.
Okay, I think that's just an extra little tunnel. I don't think that was a part of the original.
Okay, never mind. I was trying to make it a creepy
No,
video,
no,
but
no.
she's ruining it.
No, listen.
Yeah.
I understand that the gated off part was an actual, like, little casino restaurant place. And now, I mean, the casino part was in the back hiding because technically gamble was still illegal then, at the time that this thing was around.
Everything's illegal in Kentucky.
Yeah, but back then, like, that really was. Like, the time that it was up and running.
Yeah.
I do think, though, that tunnel might have been the one over here, that they might have been trying to connect it, you know, to that one over there, to the
I don't
actual
know, I just
place.
thought it'd be a creepy video to ghost hunt. That's it.
So,
I don't know if there's any history there or not.
I only know the fact that there is a history to the gated off part for sure.
Yeah.
That's all I've really been able to find. There's not much on it though.
I just ghost hunt random spots because,
Yeah.
no offense, I don't understand why people are like, oh, it has to be this time of day and it has to be this place. Like, I think a ghost is a ghost. I've seen ghosts. Dude, we stayed at Dave's and I knew there was a ghost there. I seen him on the side of my eye multiple times.
Yes, he loves to do that.
Yeah, and
Which I
Dave
do.
was like, did you see something? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, we got a ghost here. And
Yes.
I'm like, okay. And it was
Which I
like,
already told you
honestly,
that.
it was honestly like one of the most boring places, like in the daylight, in the daytime. You wouldn't even think it's haunted. You can't even feel it.
No, Mr. Cowgill is very quiet.
Yeah.
In the sense of.
So I think ghosts
But-
appear whenever they want you to see them.
Yeah, which I mean, I already told you that it was
They're kind of
haunted.
like cats. They'll come around if they like you.
Yeah, and I already told you it was haunted. I already
Yeah.
told you about Mr. Cowgill.
I couldn't remember, but
Yeah. He
not
likes-
off the top of my
he-
head right
he
now.
likes to hide-
He's so detail oriented, man.
Yes, I am.
Jesus
Yes,
Christ!
I am.
I'm trying to have a smooth flowing podcast because
And
we're
we
almost
are.
done. Yeah.
And we are having a smooth flowing podcast.
I'm just picking, man.
Yeah.
But, I know I just haven't got to answer the question. Because I'm doing it for you and me.
Well, go ahead with yours.
I know, I'm thinking entity. You keep sidetracking me, man. I'm trying to, like, focus and think, and then you keep sidetracking me.
What?
Entities that I would... My favorite entity would have to be probably Mothman. I don't know why I've always been stuck on Mothman. And I would love to see Mothman. Like, physically see him. But yeah. That's my favorite one.
Yeah.
Mothman. I love Mothman. I don't know, it's just his, like, figure is just wicked and makes... I don't know, it's like a dope-ass, like, archetype. You know? No one knows what the fuck it is. Some people think it's a fallen angel. Some people, what is it? I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite one, Mothman.
Oh, pardon me.
I don't know if there's... Oh, I have... Alright. So what are your dreams and goals for the podcast and the channel? And that's the last one.
I guess just for it to keep flourishing, for more people to be interested and want to watch and listen to you. Because, I mean, I already admit it's more yours than mine, definitely.
Yeah.
So for them to just keep finding you and to listen to you and be interested in what you have to say and tell them. And just for it to keep getting bigger for you.
Alright.
You know?
Happy 100th.
Happy 100th episode. I guess also for it to one day be sustainable enough that actually you can make enough money that you could actually make this your legit job.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
But, I actually kind of wrote up some stuff because I know it's a turnoff when people talk about money, and it's not about the money. It's never been about the money. I'm going on 5 years of having this channel. And I told you guys the origin of the channel. My dreams and goals and purpose of this podcast and channel, because there are non-podcast videos that I do on YouTube. Obviously, like, seek the truth. I would like it to be self-sustainable. I don't even want to make profit. I just want it to be self-sustainable. Like, we have 2 microphones. Go check out the Cuties movie review. We have opened this shit up.
Yeah.
Like, earlier this year, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I want the channel to make enough to where I can afford the equipment.
Yeah. So would I. I'd like to be able to actually set up something with an actual computer and with an actual camera that I automatically feed into the computer, and it just records right up onto the computer. You know, just make things easier. Definitely.
And like I said, I want to make t-shirts, and I'm going to do that with my own money just because I want to be able to, like, wear my own t-shirt. But this is someone, you know, that's close to me. They made this t-shirt, and I honestly, I want to be able to have my own t-shirt.
Yeah.
And,
Makes sense.
and be able to wear my own t-shirt just because it would make my day. I've spent 4 years doing this channel, and it's almost like a selfishness. Like, I just want to have a t-shirt made just so I can wear my own t-shirt.
Yeah.
You know? But I would like it to be self-sustainable. Most of the reason why I put out this podcast and videos and stuff is, like, you know, I used to be a punk rock singer. I used to live a wild life. I've calmed down, obviously. I'm functional in society. But I know I'm not going to last forever. And when I was talking about Art Bell and stuff, like, or William Cooper, or even if you hate him, Alex Jones, like, he will never be forgotten.
No.
Like, his words will ring in people's eardrums till the day, for eternity, man, you know? And I always felt like every time I make a podcast, I feel like a primitive man carving something into stone. Because it's like, when I'm gone, I know I'm not going to live forever. When I'm gone, these words will go on forever. You know? And I should hope that it keeps getting put out there. I don't know, I'm the type that I don't want to be cremated. I want to be buried, and I want a headstone because I want to be remembered for something. And I hope that I change people's lives. I hope that I seek the truth. I'm not always 100% correct. I don't have all the answers, but I'll tell you what I think is going on. You know? I try to be the best person and stuff, but my actual goal, like, say this podcast takes off, if it ever does. As silly as it sounds, we watched this movie. It was a Whitley Strieber movie. And I had already come up with the concept before I even seen the movie, and I didn't realize that there actually is this concept going on. But if for some reason this channel like ever blew up like Tinfoil Hat or something like that, would I do 15 different podcasts like Sam Tripoli does? No. I don't think I could handle 15 different podcasts. I would do just this one podcast. Like, would I like it to be my one job? Obviously, yes. That's my dream job. That's why I keep doing it, because it's my art, but if it succeeds, and I'm not going to stop doing it. I'm not going anywhere. But if for some reason I ever made profit off this enough to like actually that I'm making bank, like say like Sam Tripoli or Rogueways, or I don't even think she's making bank, but I want to set up. The movie was it's a Whitley Strieber movie, and it was like kind of like AA meetings, but it was for people who had paranormal experiences, UFO experiences. I want to kind of set up like a clinic almost, of like, or not even so much a clinic, but a place for people to have almost like an AA style meeting house. Because I don't think that therapy or the psychological or medical industry, obviously they don't accept the paranormal, they don't accept ufology, and I mean, the night that I had my UFO experience, I'm pretty sure they were trying to get my daughter. And the night that I had my demonic experience, it was just me and the demon, you know. And I think whatever money I make off this channel that's like profit or beyond profit, I would like to kind of start like almost like an AA group, but for paranormal experiences, demonic experiences.
To be able to talk about it without judgment.
Yep.
Kind of like AA does. You're meant to be able to talk about these things without judgment.
Because this shit can either screw someone up, and who do you run to? What do you do? Go to a therapist and go, yeah, I see demons. Oh, you're schizophrenic. Here's a pill. You know?
Yeah.
This shit isn't all in your head. You know?
Yeah.
And I want like a safe place. That's what I want to do. I want this to become my job. It's a dream job. Obviously, dreams are meant to be broken. But if I ever actually made enough money, I would like to kind of rent out a building and just start at least one. That's all it takes is one.
Yeah.
Like a little group. We all meet up. We all get to vent and share, and because the psychological and medical industry they don't have a place like that for anyone like us, you know, who have been through this shit. And that's my dream. That's what I want to do. But happy 100th!
Happy 100th, guys!
Y'all have a good day.